Howdy. So today I wanted to start with a quote because I think it really bleeds into the topic well, and I really like the quote. The night of the fight, you might feel a slight sting. That's pride fucking with you. Fuck pride. Pride only hurts. It never helps. You fight through that shit. Because a year from now, when you're kicking it in the Caribbean, you're gonna say to yourself, Marcellus Wallace was right. So that's a great quote. I don't know. It's a Pulp Fiction quote, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with Pulp Fiction. It's irrelevant in context of the movie. No, it's not irrelevant, but it's not super important in context of the movie. However, in context of what I want to talk about today, which is tilt, it's of supreme importance, right? Because when you lose, it stings, and that's your pride. That's your pride messing with you. Um, so pride comes from ego. It comes from being proud of yourself and what you do, and that's not bad. You should be proud of yourself. You should take pride in the things you do on a daily basis because you're here, you're participating, you're doing it, and by dang, you're doing your best, and good for you because you're doing your best. But you can't let that rule you. You are human. You crap like everyone else. You smell funny sometimes. Your body has weird emissions. Like you're you're not you're not a god. You're a human being, and it's okay to be proud of yourself. But just remember that you're human. If if you let pride drive you around, you're not you're not in control. Pride's like a wild horse. You got to break it before you can tell it where to go. Um, so keep that in mind. When I play games, I lose. I lose all the time. Sometimes it's kind of tilting. Mostly it's tilting because of how I lose. But regardless, I still lose. Um, Keep that in mind when you're losing. Everybody loses. So you're not going to be the only person experiencing loss. That guy that just beat you, he's going to go. He's probably going to lose his next game. It's fine. And beat like if you're losing because you're just drawing a bunch of lands or whatever, like yeah, it sucks. But sometimes you're the guy who's sitting on the other side of a table and your opponent only has two lands and you're on like your fifth land and you've got a handful of cards and he can't do anything about it. So when that happens, just remember what it's like to be on the other side of it. Because I mean, maybe be happy for him. Be like, well, you know, I'm 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 a stepping stone for you, but my time will come. I'm gonna be on the other side of this at some point. And the games where that doesn't happen, where neither side stumbles like that, those are real games. Those are the fun ones, in my opinion. Um, so getting mad about it doesn't actually help you. So when you're sitting there and you're getting upset because all this stuff is going wrong and it feels like the gods are against you, who the hell cares? End of the day, who the hell cares? You know, you're you're just here and you're doing it and hi, I'm in the middle of a monologue. You're here and you're doing it and you're going to you're gonna get it. So, okay, back on my thought train. Your tilt doesn't serve you. It just all it will make you do is make you make misplays or quit, both of which are not desirable outcomes for you. So, in order to not make misplays and not quit and achieve your desired outcomes, your best your best bet is to just learn to deal with your tilt because it builds resilience not just in magic but in real life too. If you can manage yourself when you're just doing nothing but drawing lands, or have a card full of 3 and you're on 2, that's going to serve you well outside of Magic too. When you're in real life at your job doing something frustrating, or you're dealing with a partner who's just being real stubborn about something, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to serve you quite well to have that resilience, and that's one of the most important takeaways from Magic. So when you're losing, don't tilt, or try not to tilt, and learn to control it. My suggestion is take a step back, close your eyes, and just focus on taking a breath. It's going to be really hard because your brain, the way brains are wired, your brain's going to be like, no, I'm not doing that. And it's going to get real stubborn with you about it. But if you can just try and practice it, right? Because it's not something you're going to get first time, and that's okay. We're persistent about it. We're persistent about developing focus. So we step back, close our eyes, and we learn to manage it. So you should always be kind of pushing where your tilt is too, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons that I like doing the standard event runs, because A, it's low stakes. Who cares about 500 gold? I'm gonna make it back anyway. B, because there is a stake involved, it changes the way my brain works, my mind approaches it, and it creates situations where I tilt harder than if I were just playing ladder. But that means I can go back and play ladder, and there's nothing riding on this game. What the hell do I care, you know? So, yeah, it's just a way to manage who you are and what you do, and it's one of the great lessons that Magic can teach you that you can take away to real life. So that's more or less all I wanted to cover today with the vlog before we get into the games. I'm actually going to do a go over after the break here, so we're excited about. Did I just do all of this without streaming? No. Okay. All right. So we're actually going to go over my decks after the break here. Okay, so we are back into it here. That's not a daily I want. So we've got 2 decks that we've been farming with. The first one is a rogue deck. It is the first tier 1 deck we built on our own. Like, crafted the card, not decked and crafted the cards for. It's not anything that we did special. It is a deck that I really enjoy, and I think there's a lot to it. So we've got a pile of rogues here that we can play, and that's our game plan. These 3 rogues right here, also the ruin crabs, I guess, because those turn on the rogues. But these 3 rogues are our game plan. They're creatures that are difficult for our opponent to deal with, and we want to get them. That's most games, that's what we do. The ruin crabs are here as a backup win condition, but pretty much every game we just want to get them with the rogues, and then we want to bring the rogues back through Lurrus, and we can call the Lurrus back with Call the Death Dweller and an Awakening. And then we've got a bunch of creature removal. We've got Cling to Dust is kind of its own thing over here. We've got Heartless Act, we've got Bloodchief's Thirst, we've got Drown in the Loch, and we've got Anti-Cognition. Bloodchief's Thirst and Anti-Cognition can both hit Planeswalkers. Heartless Act can hit no counter creatures, which actually in this metagame is kind of a pain in the butt, but it's conditional removal, so it's 2 instead of 3, which lets us bluff Drown in the Loch. it lets us do a bunch of stuff. Bluff, anti-cognition. So it's good. It's good in context of the deck, but it's not super great. Bloodchief's Thirst is a sorcery, so it's sorcery speed removal, which isn't as good, but you can kick it up to remove anything. Drown in the Lock is contingent on having stuff milled. So, oh, and Lull Mage's Domination. We can actually steal their stuff. It's really cool when we steal their stuff, but there's only one of those in the deck, so it's not super likely to happen. And yeah, these are just to bring back the Lurrus or any of our other rogues. Sometimes we can just get them with this, and we don't have to worry about playing out the Lurrus. We can awaken for like 2 and play out a Enforcer and a Thought Thief. And then there's Into the Story, because we like drawing cards. Everybody likes drawing cards. We like drawing cards a lot, so we've got Into the Story in here. Because it's instant as well, so you can float that and do it on your turn. And then we got just shenanigans that we can use. We got a Vantress, we got a Lockthwain for kind of sorting through our deck if we've got mana to float at the end of their turn. We've got Fabled Passages for the Crab. We've got Scrylands because we like stacking our deck. So all of these things work really well to form a game plan. And then we've got the Cling to Dust because people are putting a lot of escape stuff in their deck, and we want to be able to remove it. It hits our weak cards, or our bad cards quite frequently. Now, sometimes it's not fast enough because we can't get enough cards in our graveyard to hit sometimes, and that can be a bit of a problem. That's another reason that the Fabled Passage is so good, is it builds the graveyard and the Death Dwellers and the removal stuff. You can use Cling, and yeah, all together, the deck wins through pressure. So you pressure your opponent. Primarily, you want to be pressuring their life total, and you want to use your removal to let your creatures get in. But you can also pressure their library, because all of these mill, right? Every single rogue here mills them, so you're also applying pressure to their library while you're doing your aggro thing, and that means the game has to have a definite end. They can't just sit there and play around forever. This really beats up control decks, especially when they draw clunky. It does poorly against other aggro decks. That said, if you can draw an End of the Story fighting another aggro deck, you will usually win. Or a Call to the Death Dweller or an Awakening or something, and just land a huge swing turn where you're like trading off your stuff and then bringing it back. You'll get ahead on card advantage, and they can't do anything about it because most other aggro decks don't have any way of dealing with that. So this entire deck is just about pressure. It's about disrupting their game plan and getting them with cheap rogues and making sure that they feel the pressure to actually finish the game. It's a very tilting deck to play against because there is so many different ways to fight. I've had a couple, going back through my videos from yesterday and the day before, I've had a couple people concede games that they totally could have won, and I think that is one other advantage of this deck, is that people just, they get overwhelmed by it mentally. They're just, no, I can't, I'm not solving this, it's too complicated, and they walk away from games that they totally could win. So that's another advantage too. And that's why I like it. The downside to this deck is that sometimes you just draw all of this stuff and none of this stuff, and you never get to like Into the Story and get to any of this stuff, and it gets kind of awkward. And the other downside to it is the games tend to be a little bit longer, so it's not as easy necessarily to just go in there and get your wins done, because the games tend to go. They're not half-hour games. That's a meme, but they go a little bit on the longer side. So that's rogues, and the other deck we're using to farm is this mono white deck. This I built. This is me, all me, 100%. This deck right here, if you're running into it, I mean, I guess someone else could have built a similar deck, so I can't take credit for it, but I've been beating people up with this for a couple months now, and I think it's pretty good. It's a mono-white life gain aggro deck. There's no card draw except for the Legion Angels, and your game plan is just smack them in the face, and you got Glass Casket and Giant Killer for their stuff. You got Alicid and Selfless Savior to protect your stuff, and then you got Vigilance creatures to stop. This deck beats up red deck. That's what it does. It also gets under, like, if there's a control deck that stumbles on its draw, you can just gas them and win. But you lose to anything that plays heavy removal. So, like, Rakdos mid-range is a really terrible matchup for you. I think I've won, like, 1 game out of 10 against Rakdos mid-range. It's incredibly unfavored. And that deck also targets rogues, so I hate it because both of my decks lose to it. The next deck I plan to build is red deck, which probably also loses to it, so that's annoying. Anywho, what we're doing here, our game plan is to play out a Speaker of the Heavens, a Luminarch Aspirant, and then hit it with a Maul and make an Angel turn 3. Or, alternatively, is to play out like an Alicid or a Speaker of the Heavens, then play out a Hallowed Priest, then play out a Linden, and hit him for like 1,000,000 on turn 3 and turn 4 with the Hallowed Priest. Both of those plans are turn 4 lethal if they can't interact with them. And then everything else in the deck is just stuff we kind of do incidentally because it deals with stuff that they might want to do. But those two game plans are how you win games. And if you've got 2 of the combo pieces, the hand is a keep. If you've got none, it's a toss. It's a fairly straightforward deck. It gets people by smacking them in the face and winning on like turn 3 or 4. Or it can go long too. If you get like Linden and Heliod on the field at the same time, and then you equip something with like a Maul, you can just get in and start building counters on stuff. But that relies on your opponents not being able to do anything about it. Which, against like mono green, that's a strategy. But it's more of a niche strategy. Like, against the control decks, that's not how you win. So if they remove either of your 2 other game plans, you're probably out. Like, if they have a board wipe, you can't play around it. 100%. You lose to Ugin on the spot with this deck. You lose to... but you don't necessarily lose to Shatter the Sky if you've got like a Selfless Savior in play and you've been kind of playing around it, so you can hedge around Shatter the Sky. You probably lose to Extinction Event. There's again niche circumstances where you can hold back and just pressure them with like a Hallowed Priest and a Linden, and they have to remove one or the other, and then you can like play something else and just get them and finish them off. But most of the time, you're not gonna be able to do something like that because it's just too slow, and you get got by some other strategy trying to be all sneaky like that. I was running dual lands, but they kept being really awkward and screwing up my curve. And I think with an aggro deck like this, it's more important just to hit people in the face 1, 2, 3. So yeah, these are all plains and Ardenvales because I think that's appropriate. So yeah, those are the decks that I've been farming with. I like both of them. This deck I think might actually be tier 1. It's a really strange deck, but it's been doing real well for me. So yeah, the next deck I want to build is this red deck because it's sick. It's a sick aggro deck and it'd make things go really fast. I want 4 Phoenixes in it. I 100% just want 4 of those because they are an amazing card. Yeah. But we're a ways off of that. We're missing like 1,000,000 rares. We're missing 13 rares from it, so we're probably not going to see that deck for a while. But we've got 2 decks to farm with. That's enough to keep me entertained. A 3rd deck would be nice, but it's not necessarily something I'm banking on happening soon. We've got 2 decks that do well in the meta. The metagame lasts for another 2 months, so we're happy. And before I get underway here today, I'm going to actually take a leak and set up my YouTube stuff because I didn't actually do that. So this is all going to end up cut out. If you're not watching it live, you're not going to see it. Okay, need to adjust the title here. Do, 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 do. There we go. We got the stream appropriately named. So we back. And we're going to try and tilt some people off the face of the universe, because why would we not try and tilt people off the face of the universe in a video about tilt? We may get tilted off the face of the universe ourselves, but probably not. We had a great morning today. We watched the sunrise. Got some frost. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Fighting Champ of Sleepers. Maybe. Give him the ability to not do anything about that. Oh, a mirror match. Interesting. Would have been much happier to... Oh, he's just going to trade? Interesting. If we pull a land, we definitely are going to want a Death Dweller here. Maybe Lurrus? We've got the land. Chance we get countered. Let's see what our next card is. Fabled Passage. No, I don't think we want that. Oh, maybe we want to mill it? Tough call. Tough call. A strange game of do nothing. Nighthawk Scavenger. Can I deal with that? It's going to cost me 4 to deal with that if I don't counter it. Yeah, that's probably counterable. Both have Death Touch. Okay. Guess he can get us if he's got a Death Dweller in hand. Because he can play like a Rankle? Maybe we should have held back the Wind Robber for that. Okay, doesn't seem like he runs it. He doesn't have any counter spells, and he tilts off the face of the planet. So, tilt, managing tilt, understanding pressure, etc., etc. It looks like our opponent tilted off the face of the planet there. Don't do that. He was totally still in that game. Hamilton. What a weird hand. This is better. This is much better, actually. I am 100% willing to keep this. First, what are we going to want to toss? Probably the Thirst. Probably. Lurrus. Okay. We're going to go ahead and play around. We're going to play around Bloodchief's Thirst onto the Ruin Crab. We're going to at least get him for... What the hell is this? Big red or something? Oh, this is whatchamacallit. Yeah, cycling. Okay. Alright. We need to be drawing for our... Do we? I want to get the Thought Thief in play here. Just want to aggro him down as quickly as possible. He's going to turn that on for us. And then next turn, we can activate the Lurrus. We're going to want to remove that, actually. In response to him playing one? Or... how do we do this? I mean, we're going to have to Heartless Act here, which means we're probably going to want Anti-Cognition if he tries to play anything else. So we're going to want a second black down, I think. We'll float it, and then we can cling him. Or alternatively, do we just cling for card draw? We could just cling for card draw and activate the Lurrus. We could also just cling and go up 3 every turn. Nah, I think that Stinger is too threatening to leave on the field. And then we'll counter or draw. I think that's fine. Or maybe we just start clinging and removing his stuff every turn? Nah. So what's in our deck here? Drown in the Lock? Yeah, we want that. Thirst can go to the bottom. So now we've got the Drown in the Lock for the Zenith Flare when he pulls it. That's good. What's he got in his graveyard? 17? Most of those are probably cycling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He's got 15 damage with Zenith Flare right now. So I think it might be a little bit greedy. Well, no, technically we can get away with it right now, right? We can take a Zenith Flare. So maybe we do just cling for card draw? Or do we cling for life? I think we cling for life, actually. Nah, I want card draw here. We're gonna go ahead and remove something like that. Nice. We got anything in there worth? Nope. Just gonna go ahead and turn that on, and then we're gonna get him. Don't be cycling cards. Ooh, I might have just killed myself. I think we probably live here, right? One. Two. Okay. No, I think I just killed myself. 3. Yeah, I'm dead. Shit. Okay. That was a clear and obvious misplay with immediate ramifications. For the record, I don't think that deck is actually good. It just preys on decks like this. Or slower. Anything aggro, which is what people should be playing in this format, gets pretty destroyed. Let's see, Crab going first. Interesting hand. Crab going second. He's got a plains. Can probably get away with a crab, unless he has exactly tome for it. In which case he's not toming our other stuff, which we're happy about, because this game is going to be about... Well, it's going to be about me winning with low mage's domination, probably. End of the day. So yeah, we'll just play out the crab here. And then next turn we're going to have to get him for 6 with the Fabled Passage. And then we'll turn on our Thieves Guild Enforcer by playing it. Oh, that's actually god-awful for me. But we can remove it if we play, or if we activate this for a black. Which we're gonna have to do. Hushbringer. That is here specifically to fight this deck. Revenge of Ravens, Light of Hope, Veto. So this is here for Veto? Question mark. All of my removal requires me to a second Veto, and then we can just Blood Chief's Thirst it. Or we can Heartless Act it. I think Blood Chief's Thirst probably better removal here. Why are you giving me the rope? And we'll be able to end the story next turn for more black. And you shouldn't have any way to do anything about it, but I guess we see maybe if we want to counter what he does first. If so, we can counter and get a Thieves Guild Enforcer in play, and it's pretty bad for him. Do I care enough about the crab to stop that removal spell? No, I don't think I do. Balls of Basri for nothing? Question mark.
I will protect you as my own.
There's another ruined crab. Do we want to play out a swamp here? Yeah, I think we need to play out a swamp so we can drown in the lock. And play the Soaring Thought Thief, which means we can play out the Ruined Crab. Then we can play out the swamp. There we go. That's probably good enough. Or maybe we play out the Enforcer and the Wind Robber here. And then we float the mana for Drown in the Lock next turn. Or, yeah, okay. I like that more. It's a more aggressive line here. Now we've got removal for whatever he plays. If he plays out a creature, we can kill it before he gets to Basri, or we can steal it. If he plays a big creature, 100% we steal it. He's looking at exiling the Enforcer here. If he does... I wonder if I Drown in the Lock that. It depends on how much mana it costs, right? If he, like, Glass Caskets it, then we don't. But if he's got, like, a Vanishing Light... Flying Lifelink 1/4... I think that resolves. And then I would like to Heartless Act here. Could I? Why can I not Heartless Act? I want a stop after the Patrician. Do I not get to do that? Like, how does that work? 2/5. Actually, stealing that is gonna really screw on. Okay, I'm totally okay having that down, actually. Four. There, two there, two there. Yep. So, that game ended exactly the way I said it would, with me stealing something with, the thing. Lull Mage's Domination is a hell of a card in a lot of matchups. Augusto. We are fighting Augusto with the weirdest opening hand I've ever seen in my entire life. in his red deck, plays out a Fervent Champion, and swings with it. Damn. I'm gonna want to clean that probably. Ooh, that's brutal. Not blocking with that. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean that next turn. Oof, that's brutal. There's a lot of really not good for me stuff happening here. Yeah, that's all things considered, that's fine. I don't think that was actually the correct line. Out of blue. My turn. We can play out a swamp here. That kind of sucks, because we can still only Thought Thief or whatever. But yeah, I think Thought Thief is probably just good enough here. Rimrock Knight. 100% that's a Rimrock Knight. I think. No? Plays Intimidator. I don't like that card. There's another island. So we don't technically need the passage yet. Hmm. Three lands. Bolt Hound. Okay. We managed to actually live there, which is awesome. I love it when I actually live. I'm going to want to get Lurrus down as a blocker next turn. So I'm going to want to put Fabled Passage down here and just pay 3. And which am I going to want more? Oh, I don't know what I'm going to top deck, so I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and activate that. One other swamp. Pay 3 for Lurrus. And say go. And say go. 4, 5, 6. I guess that doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. Now, would we rather have a Wind Robber down here which we can use as a blocker and a draw or a drown in the lock available. I think I'd rather have a drown in the lock available to deal with Embercleave shenanigans. What's he going to be on? He can play down another one. Well, he's only going to have 4 mana to play with total. 2? Yeah, that's Embercleavable. So we want to remove anything he tries to Embercleave here. If he just Intimidators us, we're going to go ahead and drown the lock the Intimidator. Okay, that means he hasn't gotten Embercleave. And we should be good to drown in the lock here. But let's see if we can get him to commit anything else. Yeah, Bolt Hound isn't a warrior, by the way. See if he's got anything for it. If so, we're going to remove it. Oh, okay. In that case, we're going to remove the Intimidator. Like, no damage. Another drown on the lock. Nice, 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 nice. So we can actually play out the Lurrus and float another drown in the lock here, which I'm super happy about. Negatory, senor. That ain't happening. Okay, cool. Again, opponent probably could have drawn his way out of that game, but instead opts to tilt off the face of the planet. If that's you, if you catch yourself doing that, I highly encourage you just to take a deep breath and do your best to calm down. Maybe not press the concede button, just close your eyes and rope me for a minute and breathe. Because I want a good game of Magic as much as you do. Probably more so. Archpriest. Sweet. Okay. Back to it. PK Sword 1. This is a super slow hand that relies on... This is an even slower hand. Alright, well, we'll go to 5. What are we tossing? Tossing 1 island. 1 anti-cognition, probably. Most likely. Right off, milling him for 3, unless he wants to Blood Chief's Thirst that, which it doesn't look like he does. Oh, I should have played the Awakening out. Ah, tilt. Well, we need the land. Do we? Yeah, we do. That is the last island we will need. I don't know if that was appropriate, because he still doesn't turn it on, right? Okay, that was appropriate. He turns it on. Dang. He's wide. He is super wide here. But I think the correct play is just play this out as a tapped land and remove one of those. Because he's so wide, he shouldn't be able to do anything about it. We do not attack, because he can just block. I don't think we block here either. Yeah, neither of those are favorable blocks. We don't get back into this game by blocking there. Cling to dust. That's disgusting. We can play out a Fabled Passage. He's probably got a counterspell for this Thought Thief. So we're going to want to play it out at the end of his turn. Or is there a world where we activate the Lurrus and then cling to dust? And then just try and get him with cling to dust? There might be a world where we do that. And then he has to float a counterspell for the Lurrus, and we can start drawing cards. I think that's better than play Thought Thief and get it countered. Oh god, this is so awkward. I think this is technically correct, though. As awkward of a turn as that was, I think that's correct. Ah, he had to cling to dust for a cling to dust. Well, that's probably game then. Oh, that's definitely game if that wasn't already. Trade Wind Robbers. Wait, trades them. Okay, well. Two Wind Robbers in there. Not good enough. He's on 4. We can get him to 6. Actually, we can get him to 8. We can turn it on. If and only if he doesn't hold a counter. The way it's tapping, you think. Whew. Resolves. And resolves, maybe? Sweet. We've double resolved here. Into the stories. Dominations. 3 of my into the stories just got there. That's going to be rough to win. I'm going to have to win this in the air too. You want to counter it, bud? If not, I'm just going to mill you and hit you for 3. Can't play the Lurrus next turn, which means I can play my Lurrus next turn. Yeah, that's fine. Especially if I draw like a, ooh, that's a bit brutal. But now he's not doing literally anything. Well, I get screwed if he deals with the Lurrus. But he's got 2 Ruin Crabs in play, so I don't think I really have a choice but to play out the Lurrus here. Right? Yeah, I don't think I really have a choice. If he's got a counter spell for it, I get kind of blown out. That's game, probably. Because now he can just fling it. Yeah, he's got the landfall, too. We're down to 18 cards left, but he can just cling our Lurrus and it's GG. Clings are cling. Interesting. It's, yeah, top 2 lands. I think it's probably for the best if I scoop here, but we're still not seeing anything. So maybe we can bluff having counter spells or something and draw back in this. Activates his Lurrus. Opts still not to cling our Lurrus. Obviously we're just playing out a Lurrus here, right? Or is it correct to draw like an Enforcer, and a Wind Robber? I think it's correct just to pull the Lurrus here. Right? Okay. Yeah, we were never going anywhere in this game. Ever. For another 6. Yeah, I have no way of actually getting back in. The game was over pretty much when he counterspelled my... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and scoop. The game was over pretty much when he counterspelled the Lurrus. I think that was like my only way back in, and I had to play it on that turn. I guess if I'd known he was going to mill my other cling and then go for it, I could have, like, potentially played around that, but... Okay. So, we want to continue to try and defer making choices for as long as possible. I was watching my games from yesterday, and I noticed that I seemed to be too eager to make plays. Opponent goes first. Yeah, this is a very keepable hand. Rangers. Probably playing a red deck. In which case... I mean, this is a keep no matter what, but if he's playing red deck, we can just play a Ruined Crab. He's not playing red deck. Okay, well... I think we just want to get him here, right? If he's got removal for 1 crab, he's got removal for 1 crab. Sweet. What's he running? Nyx Lotus? Oh, it's that weird, like, Nyx Lotus deck. 3. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Create a food token. Oh, we got Nugan out of it. There's a Thought Thief. Wind Robber. Vantress can come down here. Comes in tapped because Clearwater Pathway isn't technically an island. Bluff having a counterspell here. Well, we can't bluff having a counterspell here. Extinction event for 1. Tough life. Oh, we can't return things from exile like that. And now we're stumbling on mana too. That's brutal. I almost want to cling to see if we can pull a thing in here that we're not aimed to res. No. Part of me thinks clinging is correct because we're not there on land. What else are we doing this turn? We're just gonna Wind Robber. Underworld Dreams. Whenever opponent draws a card, does 1 damage. That's a real card. Okay. Yeah, I think it's important to actually play out the Wind Robber this turn. So we're gonna hold Cling until the end of his turn. If he's got removal, we can draw 2. Otherwise, we just continue to defer. He's looking at removing the Thought Thief. In which case, we'd sack the Wind Robber and then call them both back next turn. I think maybe we cling first, though. I don't think it really matters. We just want to draw a card. We want to make sure that he's not pulling any shenanigans.
I did all I did. Quiet.
There we go. Although we can just get him with here. No, we can't really get him with call. We want to hold the anti-cognition for another Lurrus, and we want to be able to get wide here. So if we want to get wide here, we're looking at pulling the Wind Robber and the Thought Thief. That sucks. That's admittedly not the greatest turn because we can Thought Thief here and float a mana if we don't. And the only advantage that gives us is having a Wind Robber in play for next turn, which hits for 3. Thought Thief also hits for 3. So maybe there is some incentive to doing that, but then he doesn't have to play around a counter spell. Okay, maybe... Let's think about this. He seems like the type of deck who runs removal, Okay, yeah, never mind. I think we're better off deferring playing a card till his turn. Does not have any devotion to black. We have the Awakening now. I think we just play that as a land, right? And then we can call. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. That was extremely aggressive, and I'm super happy with it. We don't have to sack that for black yet, so we don't. If he's got another extinction event, we're pissed about it. We draw a card, and we stay mad about it. Opponent loses for X devotion life. You gain equal to the life lost this way. I don't like that. I mean, he has no devotion to black. Maybe we don't care. We just let it resolve. Or would we rather scry 2? I think we'd rather scry 2. Yep, those are some pretty good cards. Okay, he's out. Yeah, we were going to start doing some really out-of-hand, nasty stuff there, so probably best he scoops. That one I don't think was going to be ruined by tilt. That was just over there. No matter what. We got our gold back. Hooray! Feels pretty good to get your gold back. Man, this is a bit of a wait, isn't it? Good thing I have a cute girl to look at. Watch her solder. Okay, what do we got here? Not a particularly amazing hand, but it's got 2 lands, and Into the Story, a Cling, and Robber. Conditional counter spell. I'm not super happy with that. This is much better. This is much better. Fling to Dust is a tech card, so I think we just toss it. Oof. Red deck. Oof. Red deck. Is that another charger? Interesting. He's getting us. That's for dang sure. Okay. You're still milling too, bud. You're just not milling a million. There's a ruin crab. Yeah, either way, this is gonna happen. Anti-cognition. Has potential to 1-for-1. But I think we want something more aggressive, like another blue. It's 1-for-1. It's fine. 1-for-1 scry 2 is good. And our turn. Take 2 here, sure. Opponent plays a Bone Crusher Giant. Wish we had a counterspell for that. But we are going to have a blocker for it. Jesus Christ. We are going to have a blocker for it, right? Oh, we don't have another blue. 5, we can put him on 8. The only way we put him on 8 is playing out the Ruin Crab, though. That's rough. Because that means we have nothing for that Phoenix that's probably going to come down next turn. If he plays it actually before, I'm going to have to actually counter it. So I can't. I literally can do nothing here. If I anti-cognition the Phoenix, then do I have a way to block the... No, I don't have a way to block the Bone Crusher. This is pretty bullshit, and I'm mad about it. Oh shit, I meant to play the Thought Thief there. Well, we're about to get Ember Cleaved, aren't we? Goddamn Ruin Crab, man. Ruining crabs. Well, now we can turn on the Thieves Guild Enforcer, so we can blow him out with a block from a Thought Thief. That's all we're doing. This Awakening is just sitting in our hand, not being land. Really wants to play out that Phoenix. That's gonna die no matter what. But we turned on the Thought Thief by having the entrance happen on trigger. The only way we can be positive here. Our land base is just not cooperated with us. We lose from here, most likely. Most likely. Oh yeah, that's 100% game over. Activate the Lurrus, I suppose. Maybe we live if we block with a Ruin Crab and he doesn't have literally any... No, he's got the Phoenix that he can just swing with. Yeah. Yeah, that just didn't line up. I don't think there's any line could have played there. Rough life, but you'll have that sometimes. 4 and 3. Not the end of the world. A bunch of stuff we already had, and made our gold back. And made progress on our quest. So, we didn't tilt. We saw a couple opponents tilt out of games that they probably could have won. But, I mean, it counts towards wins for us. But don't be those people. Don't be those people. I'll catch you guys in a bit. Adios.